Hey guys, it's Maymay, and today I'm bringing you this peekaboo box. I thought I'd show you how I would do this my way. There's other folks that have done this on the internet, but I was like, how can I do it with the stuff we have in our stash? And chances are you have everything you need for this, so let's get started. Now I'm making mine in white today because they're doing a snowman theme, but I would suggest if you want to play around with colors and textures and patterns, this is a great place to do it in the box itself. So you're going to need 2 pieces of cardstock to get yourself started. The first one is going to be 4 1/4 by 10. And this one is 9 1/4 by 9. I know, I had to be a little weird, right? But it worked for me. So here's where we're going to score on the 10-inch side. We're going to score at 1 inch, at 3 inches, and at 8 inches. And that's all we need to do on this little guy. All right, now I want you to take your second piece, and when you put it in your scoreboard, I want you to pay attention. This is my 9-inch side. I don't want to start with my 9-inch. I want to start with my 9 1/4 inch side. And I'm doing that because I want to be very specific and make sure I am paying attention to the sizes because it matters. So 9 1/4, and we're going to score it at 1/2 inch. We're going to score at 2 1/2, at 6 3/4, and 8 3/4. So I built this morning, and I kind of worked my way back to get these measurements for you guys. So that's how we're doing it. All right, now we're going to turn this to the 9-inch side, and we're going to score at 2 and at 7. So basically, this is going to become the back and the sides of our box, and this is going to be the front. But because I want to do a die cut hole or an aperture, I can't have them connected to each other for a couple reasons. One, all of that won't fit in my die machine. And 2, I need to not have them layered on top of each other, or else holes would cut through multiple pages. Although it'll make sense in a second. So now we got all our scoring done. Let's take this little thin piece. This is the centerpiece that's going to have the cutout in it. And let's go ahead and fold and crease. Now I want to fold and crease this bottom score, just like so. And I want to fold and crease this top score, not this one, just this one. I just want to be able to see this better. You don't necessarily have to do that, but I'm using white paper, and you can see how I can see those lines much better since I've folded them. That's what I want to do. Now let's prep this guy for cutting out our circle. I'm going to be using a tag die. I think this is kind of cool. You can see here on my box that I did, it looks square from the front, but when you look up here, you get the little scalloped edge. I thought that was super cute. You can do this with any die. I'm going to show you what matters, okay? What matters is that your die is not too wide, because if you get it too wide, you won't have enough stability here, and you need 1/2 inch here to cover when we put this guy together. So you want to make sure you don't go more than 1/2 inch, okay? And you want to make sure you don't cut too much away here, because this is it'll lose stability in this area, all right? So here's what I did. Using the Dress My Craft tag number 3, and I used the largest die from the set, I'm going to tape this guy in. Now, what I used as my guide was I eyeballed it side to side. I did not measure. And then where this starts to curve, that's where I placed it on the line at the top. And I literally did it just like this. I didn't measure or check or do a template. You could totally cut one of these out, okay, and then lay that piece down where you want it and then place this on top to get your placement. But I think this is going to be just fine. All right, so let's use our die machine. So I'm going to place my base here. I'm going to lay my die in, and I'm going to lay my die in face down, or maybe face up. That's what we're doing, face up. And then I'm going to place my second cutting panel on top of that and run that through. And this is what we have. I'm going to peel this tape away here. Be very careful with your tape. You don't want to tear, because this is the front of my box. So here we go. We've got our cutout now, and it overlaps the top. And I would save this and use this for something else. Even though it's got that little score mark, it really won't hurt anything. So you got that there. All right, let's get ready for our second piece. So we've already done all the score marks on this guy. Now we need to cut away some pieces and then do some folding and some scoring. So let's do some cutaway first. The first thing I want to do is I want to cut away all of these little edge pieces here. You can see that's just a small score piece there. I don't need it, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to come onto this side, and I'm going to make an angled cut just like that. I'm going to bring that up so you can see it. See that angled cut? And then, first I'm going to hold my scissors right, because I'm not holding them right. And then I'm going to slice this piece away to that angle, and I want to show you what this is doing. A lot of times in video, I will cut straight up and then cut that away and come back and angle. But in real life, I do the angle and the cut at the same time. So I wanted to show you that. That's how I do it, okay? So I'm going to do my little angle over here. And then I'm going to cut straight up here. And I'll lay this down so you can see what I'm cutting away. We just don't need these pieces. Okay? So you can see what we're getting here. This is going to be what attaches the back to the front. Now we want to do the very same thing on the other side. So by doing this little angle first, it just saves a step. But in video, I don't usually do it that way because I don't want to confuse you. But I think it makes sense. I think you've made enough of these boxes with me that this probably makes pretty good sense. Angle and cut. You definitely want to do that angle because whenever you go to put this box together, any bulk is going to be an issue for you. You don't want any bulk. All right, so here's what we've got. So this is the sides, this is the bottom, this is the top. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to slice our little pieces apart here. So I'm going to slice this apart like so. We're just slicing on the score marks that we've made down here. Let me get that score mark where you can see it. Let me flip it over. All right, see that score mark? I'm going to slice it up. I'm just slicing through the middle of it. We probably will have to trim some of that out in a second, but right now I'm just going to separate them because you don't want any bulk. Now I'm going to do something here, and it won't matter which way you do it, but I want to pick which is the top. Because this is the same all the way down, I want to pick which one of these is the top. We'll call this the top. I want to get rid of this piece. Now, I know that seems a little weird. I'm going to use my longer scissors for it. I know that seems weird, but I don't need it in this box construction. So what I'm going to do is come right in here and just slice that guy away. This is the back of the box, and or this part will be, and I don't need that extra flap. And while I'm here, I'm going to lay this down and find the center. And I'll show you another little thing I'm going to do. Now, this is overkill. You don't have to do any of this part. I just want to show you what I did and what I would do, and you decide if you want to do it or not. All right, so I'm going to take my little centering ruler. Tim Holtz, the 0 right there, okay? And because this is a 4 1/4 opening, I need 2 1/8 on both sides, which I've got. I'm going to take a pencil. I always hide my pencil from me. Here it is. Anybody else hide their pencil in their workroom? I do. All right, and then I'm going to mark the 0, and that is just to give me an eyeball spot, okay? Just to kind of get me in the right direction. I'm going to take a 3/4 inch circle punch. You could use an inch, a 1/2 inch, it doesn't matter. And I'm going to use that dot as my guide, and I'm going to punch a little thumb hole there. Make sense? Okay, while I'm here, I'm going to do something else. I'm going to cut these panels in half. I do not need this whole length. So I'm going to cut this in half, and I don't need to measure or anything like that. These are going to go away. I'm going to cut these in half. I love making boxes. It's like a thing. First off, people ask me all the time, what's my favorite project? 3D projects, taking flat paper and making something three-dimensional. Now I'm going to take my corner rounder, okay? And I'm going to come up here. I'm going to round some corners. I'm going to round this one. You might have to fold this to get to it, to get it into your corner rounder. Just, you know, finagle it, get it in there. Doesn't matter which side you use, if you use the big one or the little one. I'm struggling much harder to get in here than I was earlier. Get that guy in there. There we go. I just want to take some of that bulk off of here. Again, anywhere we can take some bulk off, the better. There we go. All right, so we got that done. So let me lay this so you can see it. Thumb hole, flaps for the top, sides, bottom of the box. At the bottom of the box, let's take a little bulk out just to save us a step in a little bit. So I'm just going to come to these side flaps that are going to get tucked in. You're not going to see these at all. They're going to get tucked and even glued in. So I'm just cutting these little angles here to get rid of some bulk. All right, let's assemble. So in assembly, what I like to do is go ahead and fold all of my pieces and crease them down now. I will forget if I don't. So I'm just going to go ahead and run through, and everything gets folded and creased. Okay, so can you see where we're going? This is the back of our box. Let's go back to the front. We got a little bit we need to do here. So this was a happy accident. I actually didn't mean for this to happen, but it did. We have the Brutus Monroe clear acetate that's already cut 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. This stuff is exactly perfect for what we need right here. It's exactly perfect. And what I'm gonna do, I wanna show you how I did this. And it may not make a lot of sense, but this is how I did it. I took this to my scoreboard and I laid this down. I need to score this acetate at this fold at the top of the box. Let me show you what I mean. See how this acetate is scored right here to be nice and crisp? I need to get that score. Here's what I did. I placed this piece on top here, just where I needed it. I think something like that is probably good. I just want enough to be able to adhere down at the top and the sides, okay? And then I just made myself a little mark right here on the acetate. And that looks like, let's see, let's use a marker so you can see it too. I'm gonna come right here with a Sharpie and just make myself a little mark right there, okay? Now I'm gonna pull this away and you'll see the little dot on there. I'm gonna place this over here and score it at that dot. I'm just gonna move that right into place. And there's probably easier ways to do it, but that's how my brain did it. And then listen, score, 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 score. Press this guy in. The more you score, the better. I did not flip it over and score both sides, but I kind of had there's kind of a method to that. I don't want to mar the top at all. I want to just get that score mark. See it? We got it started. Now what I'm gonna do is work this guy in, okay? And when you get it there, it kind of snaps into place. It's kind of cool. Once you get it, see that? It just kind of snapped right into place on our score mark. Isn't that cool? And it's tight. This is very, very quality acetate. See that? We get a nice curve, a nice square, not curve, square. All right, let's assemble. I keep saying let's assemble. We're assembling. That's what we're doing. Okay. I'm going to fold this guy. Got a little piece of fuzz there. All right. I'm going to fold this guy like this, just so we can see what we're doing. And we're going to add some adhesive. So just taking my adhesive, and I'm going to treat this like a shaker card. I'm just going to add adhesive right around the opening. I really don't need it anywhere else. I don't need to, you know, cover every single spot of this. I just need to make sure that my adhesive stays in. Now, I would think inside this box you wouldn't put anything like granular that can sink, you know, that can come out. You're probably going to put something, you know, a pair of socks would be cute. I've been trying to think what all you could put in here, like a pair of socks, a scarf, some mittens, cookies, maybe something you bake, something like that would be really cute. But I don't think I don't think you're going to put anything like sugar or anything that could spill out. So we don't have to be too super careful. I do want to use, I got to find the end of it. There it is. I do want to use this thinner tape at the top because I do not want it to overhang the acetate. So I'm going to put a little bit here. And that should do it. And I'll put a little bit in here. Now keep your tape handy because we're going to sandwich this acetate in just a second. Grabbing my pokey tool, I'm going to peel this backer away like so. Now one thing you want to do is you want to make sure you can see your fold because you're going to line your acetate up with that. So with it folded here, I'm going to line this up. You don't want to lay over that fold. You just want to go to the fold, and that feels like it. I'm going to lay this down here, and then I'll pick this up into there. Now, it's going to be pretty stiff up here now because of that piece, and that's okay. You want that nice, crisp fold. Isn't that cool? And let me show you what I did, because you might do it too. See how my acetate isn't straight? Don't worry about it. Take your scissors and trim that off even. You do want to trim it off even, because we're fixing to assemble this into a box. So I'm just going to run right down here beside. Trim that away. It's hard to be perfect because we don't do it. We don't do perfect. All right, before we go any further, let's round these. So up here at the top, I'm going to put those in and round those as well. That's going to be the little flap that folds under. And let's go ahead and crease it so we don't have to fight it later. And I'm going to go ahead down here, got a little fuzzy on here, go down here and fold it and crease it so I don't have to fight it either. All right, we're in the home stretch. Let's put this guy together. So we're going to add some adhesive to these two flaps. And I'm using sticky tape here because we're going to be putting it over that acetate. And I don't want to wait for our glitter glue to dry. How do I keep losing my tape in? There it is. I just keep losing it. All right, we'll place this down like so. That side. Another piece over here. It's actually pretty cool. You really don't have to have much adhesive for this box. Not much at all. Okay. And I'm going to peel and reveal this one. I went ahead a while ago when I did this and peeled both sides at the same time. I made that prototype box that I showed y'all in the beginning, and I just kind of did this number. And we're going to bring this over. Now, what you want to line up is not the angle so much as this score line here, your fold and your score. That's what you want to line up. So you're going to put those next to the box and make sure those line up. So do you see here why you have to have that 1/2 of an inch? See how you need that half, make sure you don't go wider than 1/2 an inch. That's to hide that. And I always like to do a 1/2 inch adhesive binding strip. And the reason for that is I don't want it to fall apart. All right, now this is where you got to kind of force it a tiny bit because of that nice acetate fold. But look, once you get it in there, you can just lay it down and do it. And it's just like one of those boxes you buy like pre-made, but you probably have this in your stash. Just think, here's what I was thinking. I'm going to be wrapping presents. There might be some things that I want to do a little different. And having this in my stash, I only need one of these. I don't have to go buy, you know, a 10-pack. I can just make one. All right, so here's how I did my glue. I put glue underneath my flaps. I laid those down into that. I'm sandwiching these flaps. I think this is a good idea. Let me get my bone folder. Press that down in. Then I'm going to glue this flap down. So the base is completely permanently closed, and that's fine because you don't really need to get into the bottom. You want to get into the top to put the present in. And now here's what I love. This looks very professional. See how that looks like it's a box you purchased somewhere? Not one you made in your craft room with your stash, but one you purchased. Now we're going to fold this guy in, the little flap in. Now I want to show you this. You see I'm getting a little resistance? Here's why. It's handmade. It cannot be perfect. It won't be perfect. So here's what you do. Trim a tiny, tiny, tiny little bit away from the side here. And if you want to do it on both sides, you can. Just a little sliver will help you out. No one will notice that. I promise. And then it should close in just super easy. Just getting some of that. And it'll still be a little snug. You want it a little snug because you want it to hold nice and tight. Isn't that cool? I just love this. I love that I took 2 pieces of paper from my craft room and turned it into this box with a little bit of acetate. And now I have a box to put something cute in. All right, let's decorate the box. Okay, this is a piece of scrap from when I was cutting my pages to make the box. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut this guy down to just about an inch, a little bit shy of an inch. I don't need quite an inch of it. Get myself a strip of it, and then we're going to do some stamping. Our new stamp set that's called Snow Wonderful is absolutely Snow Wonderful. It's my favorite set I've had in a long, long time. So we're going to use it today. And I'm going to use the sentiment, "You're Snow Wonderful." So on our little strip, I'm going to stamp "Your Snow." And let me tell you something. I built this box, so I want the decorating to be super simple and easy because the box is what took some time, right? So this, I'm doing in all black and white. That's how easy it's going to be. So "Your Snow" and then "Wonderful" underneath. And cute, cute. I'm going to ribbon tail that end. So back to my cutter bees. And I'm just going to snip up here like so, and then angle cut and angle cut. And my plan for this little guy is to glue it like this, not on the acetate, because if someone was to look behind it, I don't want it to be glued to the acetate. I'm just going to glue it right here. So what I'm going to do is add a little glue here, place this guy in place, like so. I don't want to take up too much of my window. Maybe I'll move it over a little further even. Something like that. And then I'm going to flip this over and trim it away. So that way I know it's the perfect size. Isn't that cute like that? Oh my goodness, so cute. All right, and then lastly, love this. This is how easy this is. This is the snowman punch. This is a snowman stamp from that same set. And I'm going to glue it at the bottom. Look at that. Look how cute. That's so easy. I'm going to add my glue down here so I don't have to put it on the back of all the snowmen. Guess where it has to go. Do it like so. And then I'm going to place this guy down. And all you want to do is make sure you can stand the box up and press them down to the bottom. Now you could totally color them. You could if you wanted to add some color. But isn't that cute? And whatever is in here will really be the forefront, because imagine if it's a pair of socks. Wouldn't that be cute to have a pair of socks rolled up in there? Or a tie? A tie would be really cute. Or mittens would be so cute. A scarf. Something that would kind of fill the hole. But another thing I think would be really cute, wouldn't it be neat if you did like a little scene and put in here? You may see that box coming soon. I think that's a good idea too. So there you go, guys. A peekaboo box, super easy, glued on the bottom, easy to access at the top. You just open this guy up like that to put your items inside. And I think it turned out cute. I'm actually pretty happy with it. I hope you guys enjoyed that too. I'm anxious to see what you do. I'm anxious to see what dies you use, what you cut out of the front here, and how you make yours work. So remember, over on MaymayMadeIt.com, our customer gallery has over 2,000 inspiration posts for you guys. So when you make one of these guys, post it over there for others to see, including me. I like to peruse through and see what you guys are doing. Hey, thanks so much for being here today. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. Till next time, bye now.